Welcome everybody. It's Josh. It's Simon from Simon's Album Reviews. I'm the Prog Wanderer. You can find us on Instagram if you want to. This show is called Time Zones and Time Meters. For those that don't know, we meet up weekly, discuss a whole bunch of different topics, everything from what we've been listening to lately through to sort of ranking discographies. Or today, for example, we're going to be discussing a topic. We're going to be discussing AI and what it means to the music industry and what our thoughts and opinions are on that. So anyway, thanks for joining me, Simon. Thanks for joining me, everyone at home. How are you today, brother?
Yeah, I'm all right. Clearing the
Sleep out of
basic.
your eyes?
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to say cobwebs, but that's not how bad it is. But this, there's like this thing that always people always sing about that, right? About cobwebs. But I mean, uh, is that just not a word for spider webs, or
Yeah, that's a word for spider webs for sure.
right? Yeah.
But I always thought they meant non-use.
What?
Well, cobwebs are like they're like the spider webs that have been sitting there for ages that don't have a spider in it anymore. They're the ones that are sort of
Oh,
they're
like
like the
that.
old ones. I mean, there could be some,
Uh,
but
yeah. So I mean, if you're clearing out the cobwebs out of your eyes, you've been sleeping for a good time. Yeah.
maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I think is it Ozzy Osbourne with um, what's this chick who also plays guitar? Ah,
It'll come
if I
to you.
close my eyes forever. Yeah, but did you know? Yeah, usually the spiders eat up their own net the same day
Oh,
that
yeah,
they
some do,
or
yeah.
like they build the nets in the morning and then they eat them up in the evening.
Yeah,
And
recycling.
yeah, it's very handy. But and spiders in Australia is of course a totally different ball game
Yeah,
because
we
I
do have
mean
a
we're
few.
basically taught to you don't have to be afraid of these. And I even know that they made like a Peppa Pig episode because that's British about spiders are your friends, and then they had to edit that when
Because
they sent
kids are
that to
just walking.
Australia because
Look,
it
in
was
Australia,
terribly
we have
dangerous.
some bad spiders. We do. We have
Yeah.
a lot of bad spiders, actually, but it's not as bad as, they make out. You just try to leave them alone more than anything and be careful about, like, it depends on where you live too. So, in the area that I live, you wouldn't leave boots outside and just put your boots on.
No, okay, you would
Yeah,
have to check
because
that.
yeah, you just check them first. It's that kind of thing. So but in saying that, there's most people that just keep them inside. And the worst spiders you'll get inside are just house spiders, which if they bite you, they'll make you a bit sick, or be a bit painful. Like I don't know, redbacks, for example. They're the famous Australian spider. They bite you, or you'll be sick a bit. But if they bite a child, that could put them in hospital. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, of course, the Sydney funnel web's the one that I'd be worried about if I was around here. That'll kill someone who's my size, like 195 centimeters and 100 kilos. Like that thing will kill me like that. So yeah, I try to avoid those sorts of spiders, but you
Yeah,
know,
I do.
I haven't seen that many in my life, let alone probably what, like 10,
And are
maybe.
they aggressive as well, or is it more if you
Oh, like the
what
Sydney
was
funnel web. The Sydney funnel web, if you piss it off, it will like it'll come at you, brother.
yeah.
It'll rear up, and yeah, you got to be careful. I think the last one I found was there was a whole bunch of kids around, so I actually had to sort of get rid of it. So I just dropped like a medicine ball on top of it, and that dealt with that problem pretty quickly. But but in saying that, normally you'd try capture it. I'd try capture it, and I'd take it up to like a local place that milk them for venom, so that they
Oh
can
yeah.
make anti-venoms and stuff for them too. So I'm a big hippie at heart, I guess. I try not to kill animals and spiders and bugs and stuff, and just sort of let them be. I'll put something out in the garden, but those ones, ooh, I'll probably get rid of if there's any risk of, you know,
Yeah.
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 Anyway,
To a certain length. Yeah.
so today's episode on time zones and time meters, we're talking about Australian venomous spiders. Hit me up on Instagram if you want to chat more.
45 minutes spider talk.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'd be more worried about some of our birds, to tell you the truth. They're probably more
Okay.
feisty than anything else. But yeah. So anyway, let's talk about AI. let's talk about AI. What's your general stance on AI and music specifically?
Oh well, I mean, yeah, I'm against I'm against it. That's my general stance. Um, and well, basically, in the end, I do want it to just be a vessel of somebody's feelings and emotions. Um, I have no interest, I think, in music created by an artificial intelligence. And even if it would objectively sound good, I don't think I would be interested in it. I don't even want it to sound good, you know? That's the state I'm in. Um, yeah. What's your take?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, I listen to music for the emotional, context, and I love creativity and I love to celebrate, humans, infinite ability to create fantastic stuff. And I love the human element. It's the human element, I think, that I'm most attracted to when it comes to music in the first place. So I definitely kind of agree with you, to a degree. However,
Yeah.
I do think there's sort of a place for sound, like noise, background noise, all of those kinds of things. And I think what like for example, look, is it? I could offend people with this, but generally speaking, I don't like house music and techno. I feel like it is like, I'm sure there is some stuff out there that I know has stirred me a little bit, or it's fun to dance to, or it's got a beat and it's got all of these kinds of things. But more often than not, I see that as very computer anyway. Like I don't see that as some great composer who's putting together these amazing things. They're using digital editing, right? They're not, generally speaking, a lot of people aren't actually playing any music. They're setting up artificial beats. They're looking at note progressions or whatever that might be like three or four. They put them on repeat and then they go, go, go. And so I think we've been using technology, we've been using filters, we've been using like all of that kind of stuff for so many years now that I just see that there is a place for what I would call like soulless music or music that's not
Mhm.
creative, something that's, there to like rouse a heartbeat or to, maybe, I don't know, maybe dance along to, or to, I don't know, maybe an
It's also a little
introduction.
bit what is the purpose of music? Because that is different for people. And like we maybe concluded a little bit that uh, twist like one description that you could have of prog, because I mean that's the kind of music that we talk the
Yeah.
most about. Um, it is that it is music not meant to dance to. Sure, you can, but that's not how the main purpose of the music. Where it's more that you actually listen to the music, and whereas indeed, if your goal with the music is to fill to get a party going, then maybe the soul behind it is not so important. You
Well,
know,
yeah.
People will not
And I think
per
like,
se be focusing on the music, but rather, what's around them.
exactly. So I think like that this is kind of where I'm going a little bit in that, like, let's say, for example, an introduction to a movie or an intro to, I don't know, like this channel, for example, right? Like we've obviously got a little lick that we put at the beginning. And that's, thank you so much, Marcus, for putting that together for us as well. It's not AI, everybody. But I would see nothing wrong if the beginning of I don't know, some cartoon had an AI generated song to it. Like it doesn't need to be some creative guy who's sitting down for hours working out, something that's there. So I think there's like maybe a place for something like that, something that's barely heard, something that's just like a jingle for an ad on like a KFC ad or something. I don't know. Like
Yeah, yeah.
don't get me started on KFC, everyone. But like that kind of stuff, I kind of go, yeah, sure. Like have at it. But but
Well,
but there's other
yeah.
moments where it's kind of like I just think it robs people of their opportunity to excel and be heard. And I think artists, it's hard enough to be an artist this day and age without flooding Spotify with 100,000 AI generated bands to compete against. And because the AI generated bands or whatever it is that are sort of out there are able to be cheap, they can create things nearly instantly. They can mass produce stuff. Like all of a sudden, it becomes an incredibly hard competition for humankind to.
It was already the fact that someone concluded, made some statistics
Mm,
about, I think this was last year, so when AI still had not, made it into the music market, because I mean this basically happened this year, right? Um, but then it concluded that there is as much music released in 2024 as it was the whole decade of the 80s.
mm.
So, I mean, there's 10 times more music than 40 years ago. And
We can thank streaming platforms and stuff for that.
yeah, for sure. And I mean, and look, man, that's already a discussion
Yeah,
because is it a good or a bad thing to just have everything a mouse click away? Because it also takes away a little bit of the magic with exploring the music. When it's just, well, you can just sit there like you know, like that World of Warcraft player in South Park, insert a photo. You know what I mean?
yeah,
But and just you don't have to get out of bed. You don't even have to you with zero effort you can access whatever music you want, which is like sure it takes away a little bit of the magic of discovering it. But on the other hand, I'm thinking, yeah, because of that, there's so much music that I have taken a chance on that I would otherwise not have done.
yeah.
But yeah, that said, there's just so many acts, and there's really no shortcoming of creativity among humans, right? I mean, it's your favorite genre. There is more great stuff to be found than you will ever do in your lifetime. Like you will never manage to listen to it all,
Mm.
and the attempt to do so is maybe where you have these nerds like you and me,
Hey, hey, hey.
who still, yeah, I mean, who still are just scraping the surface,
Yeah.
and so we definitely don't need that market to be flooded with, you know, stuff that is not does not have a soul behind it. I think to be said though, like I mean, of course, on a different topic then, as I'm not as balls deep into um, art as in drawn art or painted art. Um, I am, of course, also been guilty of when I open krita to cut out our uh, silhouettes for the
Oh yeah.
thumbnail,
Yeah.
and I'm thinking, oh god damn, Josh is with his book shelf. I
Yeah.
cannot use the
So
tool to.
to
I
go
have to
around the
go
outside.
individually around it. I will just ask AI to make like one of those, uh, computerized drawing.
Yeah.
And then I
No.
also think, yeah, whatever, I just need something quick, and then of course what I still can feel bad about is that, yeah, it did learn to. It is of course just copying another artist who doesn't get the credit for it, and that's of course the same thing with music. I mean, it is still just copying a already existing music.
Well, and that's where I was kind of going to go next as well, is this idea that like a lot of the AI programs are sort of trained on and utilize, previous existing works to be able to inform it and to be able to influence it, right? And so that's where we start to get into this weird territory. Because, like, for example, well, I don't even need an example. It's pretty common sense, isn't it? I don't need to explain it. But this idea that, as AI is being built, that it looks at a variety of different artworks and then works out a way on like copying that or creating a copy of that. And so I can't remember who it was. maybe it's like Rick Beato or somebody. I think he met the was it the Congress in America, and that he spoke about AI and music and these things, and he just said you shouldn't be able to copyright or earn money from AI music, and he thinks that's the solution, so that the only people who can make money is musicians, right?
Yeah.
And that you do it like that way. And so I think I heard that somewhere. Maybe it was just on a random reel somewhere, but I thought that was an interesting take, and it does make me think a little bit about it because I see AI as the next step in like tools. So, for example, saving us time. So, cutting out the thumbnail, for example, in our clips for this
Mm.
show, right? It's a great example. You chuck it on Canva, you pop it up, you hit the little mode, and it like cuts out around the person, right? And it takes you 10 seconds as opposed to something you can actually do, but it's going to take you an hour and a half, to be
Yeah.
able to like
And
individually
it's not
click
about
it.
creativity. It's about
It's about getting,
yeah,
it's about doing
yeah,
something that you
yeah.
want to be able to do. And so I think that's the other thing. Like I would think about AI music myself and go, so I'm not a musician, but I've listened to a shit ton of music and I love music. And would I love to make my own song? Yes. Am I good enough at guitar to be able to have worked out a few little tunes of my own? Yeah. And I have done so. And if I could put that through an AI like program or something, could that be really cool? I go like, here's what I want to do, blah, 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 blah. And I create it in that way, shape or form, then I can see some merit for the process,
And I mean,
like,
you
or
also have an example of what that was now 2 years ago, I believe, where the Beatles actually managed to make a new song uh, that was existed but with too inferior sound quality and like only as little sound bites here and there, and then they could actually because of AI they could bring it you know make it as a good working song,
mm,
um, adding it was mostly a uh, like the sound quality of a guitar or whatever was not good enough to actually release it, but AI could reproduce that guitar. Yeah, I don't know exactly all the ins and outs here, but in the end, they had a song with all four
Beatles.
members,
Yeah.
with just I guess Ringo and Paul actually being the first, you know, did not go through any AI in the
Yeah.
process.
And that's it. Like, what about favorite bands where they do lose a member, or it's kind of like Ozzy, maybe like maybe he had something in the works that he just hadn't actually finished creating at some stage. Now he's
Yeah,
gone, and so people go, well, we have some samples. Can you do this and create this? Like maybe. But
yeah,
so I guess it could that there's utility and there's use for these kinds of things, and we're getting to the stage where it's going to become like pretty out there without some form of like laws and something on like the ethics that sort of sit behind this stuff. So I'm curious to see where it goes. I mean, to be completely pragmatic, I guess this is cheaper production. It's easier to make soundtracks for things. You can make it personal, I guess. Like, for example, if there was a program out there that I had that I was using, and I said, "Here's all my favorite music. Can you create stuff that I personally would love, like hybrids of that stuff?" And I'm just listening at it for myself. You go, "Is there something wrong with that?" Especially if it was based on like, "Oh, AI, I'm feeling sad today. Can you play me something that's going to make me happy?" I don't know. Like maybe you could end up finding something that way. I mean, I don't know. And then you get like more control maybe of what you might like to listen to, or you can find a nuance that maybe you personally are looking for as well. I mean, there's that kind of like there's people out there saying this kind of stuff. And so for me, I think, oh, I don't know, like look, I'm one of those people that has my views, but I will never state that they're always going to be the same because I always want to hear other people's perspectives. And I think
yeah,
when it comes to AI, that is how I kind of feel, is I have my views. I want to maintain the integrity of artists. I want to encourage, like, if we start to lose so many facets of the human race, like jobs that are undesirable to technology and robots and all of these kinds of things. Like what's left of our race? And I feel like music and art and connection and community are just such important things, and that's really what we'd want to cultivate, around these kind of tools that we're sort of developing at the moment. But like,
Yeah, I mean, look, man, there's stuff that you do for passion, and I think that yeah, the AI do not need to take that over, right? I mean, it, just like mech mechanizing processes, right? Like industrial, like the industrial revolution of things, or just technological progress in general. Like, yeah, sure, we can have you pave the streets stone for stone, or we can have these big ass machines that you see here in the Netherlands that just you just throw the stones in a thing and it paves the streets for you,
yeah.
and then you go, yeah, sure, you lose job. you lose you don't have to hire three guys, you can just hire one guy.
Mm,
But I mean, no one's really missing that. What they do miss is, of course, the money,
mm,
because that means that the will all get into the pocket of the owner of the company, right? And so I mean, that's of course the downside with it, that just industrial progress in general, if it's not um, controlled, then you will just end up with rich,
yeah, the
yeah, with a very
capitalism.
small amount of, yeah, with extreme
Yeah.
capitalism.
And
Uh,
capitalism is a really good point. Sorry to cut you off, but
yeah,
that's the
yeah,
thing, is it's like we lose our ability to earn money because our
yeah,
skill sets are no longer useful, right? So
yeah.
so let's say there's a bunch of people that lose those things. It's like, what happens to them? How do they provide for themselves? And this is where capitalism is interesting, because the idea is
This is
that
of course
everybody has worth to
why Musk,
society.
yeah, this is of course why Musk has these AI developing things.
Yeah, and the thing is
He's
that if you
he can
start
take even more
studying
money. Yeah,
you start studying AI now as a child, and it's stupid because it's going to be so advanced, like it'll advance faster than they can create a course.
yeah,
And so the point is that by the time that anyone gets there, it's like, what do you get your children into now? Like, what is it that they're going to be able to do? How is it that they're going to be able to provide for their families? Like when all of these things take it over. So there's a lot of like fear and scariness, and I've seen things saying like in the next
yeah.
2 years the world will just be a different place, and I'm sure it will be. It already is, like to a degree. But we're at the beginning of it, and for us, we're talking about music or try and
Yeah,
spiders.
but you know what? But you know what? I already have a little bit, like sometimes that it feels like I'm in a, uh, like I'm in a psychosis, or like I'm having dementia or something, because um, like I already feel a little bit like a stranger in my own world, so to speak. Because if I put on my Instagram, for example, and then there pops up stuff in the feed, or I get added by a musical artist, and then you think, holy crap, is this even a real person?
Yeah.
And like, if there isn't enough written that I think, oh yeah, this is a human being, then I'm doubting everything. I feel like
Mm.
I'm in a, I get all paranoid, like I'm in a Soviet, I can't trust anybody.
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
that's how it starts to feel a little bit. And also with like artists, then I'm thinking, okay, I can't trust this, and then I sink deeper into my 70s,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know then I'm thinking, okay, I can trust the 70s. Well, if I find an old vinyl in the record store, I know that there's no AI behind it,
Mm.
But I mean, that's also not how I want to end up.
No,
I want
that's
to
right.
enjoy new music.
It's a really good point in that we get to that stage where we now have to like become skeptical of everything that we see online, everything that we hear, everything that we see. The digital platform then becomes something that is a digital platform of which where we don't know the truth. And so for us, it rewinds us back to like the early 90s, or the 80s, when people used to have to go to libraries for information. They used to have to go to like actually go to a university or to school to be able to find out reputable sources on where to get things, because there
Mm.
wasn't some magic ethereal plane that people could tap into instantly from like, a weird device where they can get all access to all of this stuff. Like we've lived in this funny change, right? Like the last 3 decades has been so crazy because all of a sudden we've gone from having to look through those stupid boxes with the little cards on them to find the library book you're after, all the way through to now where the library's pretty much at the edge of existing. Like, because what's the point of having anything in hard copy? Like, I like these for collector value. I like to read through them. I like to pour through the pages, the smell of the books, all of that stuff. But I'd prefer to use a Kindle because I can take that anywhere.
Mm.
And music and, art and, all of these kinds of things sits in this funny place. I don't know. Anyway, so I
Well,
think
I
that's,
mean, but that's the thing, right? I mean, that it's in the end, it's not. Those are things that per se does not have to be as convenient as possible because you do it for your own entertainment, right? Uh, it's stuff you do in your leisure time. You don't do it because it's handy. You don't read a book or listen to music because it's handy. It's because you those are the 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 top the top stone of the Maslow's
yeah,
pyramid.
pyramid, yeah.
Yeah,
So, and I think that's it. Like, this is where AI, I think, might not have a place.
yeah, yeah,
It's kind of like once you get past the base things like food, water, shelter, you know, then we should be the ones spending time on like community. We should be spending times on like people, relationships, these kinds of things. And then after that, hopefully the stuff that we spend time on is playing games and enjoying each other's company, or, sport or music or whatever it is. So I don't know.
yeah.
It's
And I think for me, it's also a little bit of a it can be a bit of a principle thing because I mean, when we what when we create music, it's so much, we are really not reinventing. It's not as much inventing as we think usually. When I listen to the CD that I made with my band 20 years, 25 years ago,
mm,
I was like, I was thinking, oh yeah, actually, this song I actually ripped it off of an Iron Maiden song. I was like, oh yeah, this is actually this song. It's the same chord progression. It's the same, um, and I was just not aware of it. And there's
yeah.
plenty of examples, where they go like, did they just blatantly, shamelessly copy this thing from another
Yeah,
track? And
yeah.
most of the time, that's not even the case. It just stayed there subconsciously. You did not realize that you actually had heard it somewhere else,
One of
and
my favorite albums in, I think it was 2023 or 2024, was made by a band. I loved it. I was introduced to it by someone online. They said you should check it out. You'll love it. I listened to it. I really did love it. And then as I continued listening to other things, I listened to like the Deer Hunter. I fell in love with the Deer Hunter, and then I was just happened to stumble across the original artist that I liked, on a review on YouTube, and they when they heard it for the first time, they're like, "It's a blatant rip-off of the Deer Hunter." And after he said that, I was just like, "Fuck," because I really
yeah,
enjoyed it, and it was my first experience actually. And so it's really funny to think that it was done in the opposite order for me. Like I got access to something by somebody who's influenced so heavily by somebody else in the first place, and that was, that magic maybe was the thing that I loved. I don't know, I still like both of them, and I think there can be influence and it is different, but it's exactly what you were saying there. There's
yeah,
like
yeah,
there's
and
this
and even when you hear new music uh, and it feels new to your ears, and it is because it's just new enough. Like if it's too radically different from what your previous listening experiences are, then you will not like it. You know, it's just tweaking what already exists that actually speaks to us. So, I mean, it all has to do with our previous listening history. Either
Anyway.
way, so that's a little bit like, as well as a receiver, as a creator, you are just modifying uh, the information that already is there, and in a sense, you could say, well, that is maybe also what AI would do. But I think there's a principal difference in, I am interested in what a human has experienced
Mm.
leading up to the creation, whereas I'm not interested in whatever data that an AI unit has searched through.
Yeah, it's interesting. Here's another one. So let's flip, and I'll just want your opinion. What do you think
Yeah.
about the idea of a virtual artist being eternal, and that they're not going to get worse, that they're not going to lose their voice, they're not going
Yeah.
to like, or they're not going to do freaking stupid things. I mean, maybe AI later on will. Maybe there'll be like personalities and shit, and you'll get like your terrible, equivalent of a woman bashing, like, you know drugified, like, drop kick kind of an artist AI. But in saying that, like, it's free of all of those things. It's free of idolizing some form of a false,
Yeah, well,
like
maybe we should
thing
just stop idolizing people
in
in the
general.
first
Yeah,
place.
yeah,
Yeah, maybe that's, um, if an artist is straying enough from what you like about him or her or them, just, you know, just look a little bit around you, because there's so much to experience. I mean, um, in a sense, okay, I hate on bashing on them, but I mean, now that Soen is not playing the music that I enjoy anymore, I don't have to, I don't have to cling on to them. I mean, there's of course, of course it is in some way hurts a little bit, but um, there's plenty of other music for me to enjoy. I don't have to, stick around and forcing myself to like their new records.
yeah. And I think it's with respect to someone as well. Like, they're allowed to choose their directions,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
and
yeah.
the funny thing is they'll be immortalized in your personal music heart with their,
And I
albums
still
like
got access
Lotus
to
and
their old
stuff.
stuff.
That's what I mean. And
Yeah.
so that's a good point too, I think. But but yeah, here's the thing: is like AI, we don't have to worry about, like, the
Sorry?
human. We don't have to worry about the human factor, do we? And so
No.
that means that, there's maybe less politically. I mean, maybe there's the people who make the AI like content as well, and they're like, I want something that's politically motivated and pro this and pro that, or
Well,
anti this and anti that,
I
and
just told my wife that we're gonna have this as a topic, and she said, "Well, apparently, like the right wing, like made, or like the extreme right wing had now in the Netherlands have like a anti-refugee song made by AI that they're all chanting along to." Yeah, that's
there you go. So it's still a tool, isn't it? And I guess it's a good point. So, I put together some of these questions just to see what you'd think and to be able to discuss it. And there you go. Like, we end up sort of coming sort of full circle in that it then can be also be a tool to like rouse the world, like Wagner was with the Nazis, or like, like, because music was a tool to help, like, stir people to action and all sorts of things. And I see music doing that all the time. So, you know, then we get, yeah, does it technically become a weapon of mass destruction? Because it's got a catchy hook and everyone's singing it, like, far
yeah,
out. Like, misinformation and all of that kind of stuff is pretty full on.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, we can't escape like these, these comedy acts
And
like
then the
South
money goes
Park.
straight into to Elon Musk's pocket,
Maybe, yeah.
uh, uh, who actually, is responsible, who could solve the whole problem if he was not so greedy. Yeah,
Yeah, we've always
although
lived in a world where these fundamental things are always challenged, aren't they? And I think AI just adds another layer that sort of stirs the pot and, you know, starts to make us think about that kind of stuff too. Um,
yeah.
hmm. What do you think about the idea of maybe AI being used just solely as to remix things? So you keep the integrity of the original artist. Let's say, I mean, let's pick Iron Maiden because you brought him up before. Let's say it's like, okay, Iron Maiden's done, but we would like to remix it, update it, modernize it, like you said, with the Beatles thing, I think. But it's actually just the song, just reinvented and reproduced. Because there's some albums out there that had horrible production that I kind of like nostalgically for the horrible production, but god damn would I love to hear, Richelieu's, Feather Gun, but without some of the pitchy things. And AI probably like would be able to just do that in like 28 seconds, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That is maybe where what I would accept. Yeah, making Steven Wilson obsolete
I guess that's a great point
as
too, is there's
as
amazing
as
producers out there who lose their jobs, don't they? You
yeah,
know, look, I don't know. I think authenticity and musicianship in prog music, which is what we love so much, is so important. So, excuse me, I anticipate that it's going to be something that we look for. It's going to be, we look for the human bands out there. I think what's going to get stirred up is when people lie and they use AI to help them create something. Maybe they just say create us 10 songs and then they tweak it and play it themselves and then learn it and modify it and stuff as well and then come to us. But I think that's probably where this is going to lead. It's going to be the people who are not claiming it's AI, claiming it's themselves and sort of just running with it, right? It's like the chess world. They have all of these controversies going on in the world because of AI and people who are playing online tournaments who are using, computers and artificial intelligence to be able to win competitions. And so now they've got,
mm,
I think there was competitions for chess.com's thing where they get special like machines or computer programs or something to test and to make sure that all of the inputs are there, and they've got like people with like multiple camera angles facing their their setup so that they can prove that it's actually them playing. It's
mm,
really crazy. There's a controversy that's gone on. It's quite a huge thing. There's an ex-world champion grandmaster named Kramnik who's been accusing people of online cheating and using AI a lot. And he's really bullied a lot of really professional grandmaster players. And just recently, the person who was his biggest target has just died at the age of 30, or like in his 30s. And so they haven't disclosed that it would be suicide, but everything points towards this. And if the very worst case, like this guy has been bullied online and accused of being using AI, and he claims he wasn't using AI, and you could see it affect his mental health for the next like 2 years because he had an online presence. And so,
mm.
can we expect the same things in music where a band releases, the next big thing where it goes viral, it's crazy, it's awesome, and then all of a sudden we just get the haters, and it's the old guard. So, whoever it is from these traditional, let's say the 70s prog bands all unite and they're like, that's fucking AI, right? And they go off at them, and then all of a sudden we end up with bullying campaigns and all of this kind of bullshit saying like that what you've produced isn't yours, and that would destroy the heart of any artist, right? So, like, what can we expect as we move forwards? Like,
Yeah,
far out.
yeah. And Jordan Rudess is committing. Yeah, no, I mean, um, yeah. Well, I guess we have to come back to this topic in I don't know, a
Yeah,
year,
a
see what has
year or
changed.
six
Yeah.
6 months, it's probably completely changed.
Who
We'll
knows?
probably be artificial, like we'll be picture perfect. We'll have like great
Yeah.
quality everything. It'll be all. My voice will have changed, so it's more charismatic.
Yeah. Yeah. I will not have to search for words anymore. Yeah, if that's the case, if I'm not searching for words, you know that I'm replaced.
Yeah, I'm the same, and I speak English, right? And if it's not so waffly, right? Like I have a tendency to go all over the place. Look, dude, this has been a really cool conversation. Thank you so much for your time. I'm super curious to hear what people say. Like, if you've gotten through to this part of the episode, please write your opinions down. I know some people don't give a shit, some people really do, and please don't burn us or hurt us for our thoughts and opinions either. But we want to keep it respectful, of course, in any comment section. But please, like, let us know what you think. Like, I'm super curious. Um, and as I said, like I've always got an open mind. So if somebody makes a really good point, then I'm willing to acknowledge it as a good point. But
Yeah,
the funny
same.
thing, but the funny thing is yeah, there's a few topics within this that are going to be hard to move me. I think to shift me.
Yeah, same.
Anyway, thank you. As I said earlier, you can find Simon and I on Instagram. You can directly reach out to us there if you'd like to. Um, You can write in the comments to interact with us as well. Otherwise, well, how's about we leave it there, bud? What do you reckon?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Keep the momentum. We'll see you next week. What do we got next week?
I can't even
Oh,
remember.
we got a Green Carnation album study.
Oh yeah, that's great. So we're going to be doing green carnate. That yeah, and I'm keen to talk to you about this one. I've been playing it quite a bit, so yeah, we'll
Yeah,
have to.
same.
Well, that's what we're going to break down. So tune in next week, check it out. I'll see you guys later. Thanks so much. Wow. Peace out, everyone. Bye.
Peace.